Hello and welcome to Fresh Perspectives. My name is Gail, and I am happy that we are welcoming some of the ladies from the Women's Club at the Chautauqua Institution for today's interview. To my left is Kelly Boyce Himebaugh, President. To her left is Hope Zielinski, Executive Association. Gail Gamble, Chair of the Flea Boutique, and Sharon McClymonds, Chair of the Scholarship Fund. And thank you for coming on today, ladies.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now, Kelly, since you're the president, we're going to interview you first. And you tell us something about how the summer of 2022 went.
Thank you so much. First of all, anytime we have an opportunity to talk about the Chautauqua Women's Club, we are very happy to do it. We have some of the board members represented here today, and we have had a wonderful, wonderful season. It's been a whirlwind of activities and fundraising and wonderful programming. As you know, Gail, we've one of our visions is to enrich the lives of the members or the communities we touch. And we are known as the heartbeat of Chautauqua, and we try to enrich the Chautauqua experience for everyone. But that is in the gates, but we also are making an effort to have year-round programming and touch the communities outside the gates during the year. So we're very much looking forward to that. But we had a fabulous year.
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, from the looks of it, I think a lot of people from outside of the gates come in on Sundays, from the experience of how many people show up to shop at the craft market, the artists in the market on Sunday afternoons. So, so that is pretty nice.
Well, people come from outside of the gates. We have programming all week long throughout the season. We have on Wednesdays, we have contemporary issues where we get an AMP speaker who comes to the Women's Club, and we can dive deeper and have a more intimate talk with an AMP speaker, which is great. And then Thursday mornings, we have Chautauqua Speaks, where we bring in experts or, interesting Chautauquans, and that's throughout the county, will come in and speak to us for our Chautauqua Speaks program. And then Saturdays, we have our big, what we like to say is our showcase of our programming, which is the Contemporary Issues Forum, and that's at the Hall of Philosophy. Where we can get anywhere from 300 to 800 people. So people come from all over to hear our programming as well.
And there's all kinds of classes usually that people can take. Is that correct over there? Do they still have the special studies program? I know that I know that the pandemic sort of messed with things over there. Do they still have?
Well, that's the Chautauqua Institution. We are a separate 501c3. So we provide our own programming, but we enrich the whole Chautauqua experience.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I'll move along to Hope Zielinski of the Executive Association. What is your
Executive Associate?
It's written down here.
She's the glue that keeps the Women's Club together.
Okay.
And so before you do that, I just want to say that we provide the Women's Club. Our mission is providing innovative programming, dynamic events, leadership opportunities, which we have an example here, and life-changing scholarships for students, which we'll have Sharon speak about. But Hope has been with us for 7 years.
Okay.
And so she came in as a student, and so I would like you to talk about your experience.
Okay, go ahead.
So I'm very happy to be here. I've been with the Women's Club for 7 years, and since then I've had the opportunity to get to know, work with, and learn from many very intelligent, accomplished women from all over the country. Yeah, so I've, over the years, gained some more responsibilities, so I was able to learn a lot about bookkeeping, marketing, planning events, and also engaging with renters and booking our beautiful house right down on the lake at Chautauqua Institution. Yeah, so over the years, it's just been a complete joy and just an opportunity of a lifetime to get to know everyone and learn from these fabulous women.
Well, I think we've learned more from you, actually, but it's been a joy.
So you helped with a lot of things, then you did a lot of things. You put on the reception, you were involved in that, apparently?
Yeah, so I'm involved in pretty much anything we do. So we have a lot of events at the house, so I'm very involved in like the planning and marketing for that. I deal with our online platforms for ticket sales and our website and all of that, and just trying to pursue the mission to make sure that we're doing everything we can to reach the community and offer a variety of programs and events.
Who were some of the AMP speakers that you had visit the Women's Club this summer?
Oh, that's a hard question.
We're
We're missing our program person who handles that. So you're putting us on the spot. But we've had some great speakers.
Oh, okay.
There has been a little bit of interruption because we've had some security issues and whatnot at the institution. So that's kind of been a little spotty. But we really we have a variety of people who come to speak, from somebody who is a nonprofit leader. We've had the executive director of the Anne Frank School, Frank Center. That was amazing. We were able to honor military and veterans. We had one of the highest ranking women, retired Vice Admiral Anne Randau, and she's the president of the postgraduate or Naval Postgraduate School. So we've had amazing speakers throughout the season.
Yeah, there were a couple of programs I wanted to attend that just happened to be the last week of the summer, but things came up and I wasn't able to attend. So basically it was Monday morning with Rhiannon Giddens. And I wanted to do both that, and I wanted to go when she performed when the Chautauqua Symphony came up. But then other things came up that I had to do, like the night of her performance. That night I had a chance to, I wound up working at the poll site in Mayville on that day because there was a double election. And, just things like that. So I just wasn't able to do it, but I would have liked to. That's what I would have done if I could have.
That's typical of Chautauqua. There's so many things that you can do that, we call it the Chautauqua guilt.
The guilt?
Yeah, the guilt, because you go to one program, but you're missing 3 other programs.
Oh, yeah. So, well, summer is such a busy time. There's always a million things to do. Okay. The next guest is Gail Gamble, chair of the Flea Boutique at the Chautauqua Institution. Do you want to tell us about the Flea Boutique?
Yes. Well, the Flea Boutique in some form has been going on for decades. Maybe 10 years ago, everyone remembers our huge flea market that we had behind the colonnade. And about 10 years ago, we stopped doing that because it just became too unwieldy. There have been some changes at Chautauqua and more traffic and more things going on behind the colonnade. So we've moved the Flea Boutique into our space that the institution provides us, and we have a main room that sells all kinds of household goods, and then we have a clothing area for men, women, and children to shop.
Okay, and you've been doing this for quite a few years then.
I've been doing it for about 5 years, and the Flea Boutique operates on the generosity of Chautauquans. I'm just amazed when I open up the bags that people donate and what they give us to resell. And then the shoppers come who are Chautauquans, and on Sunday we're open for the public to come into the grounds and shop with us. So we're only open Wednesday, Friday, and Sundays for 2 hours a day from 12 to 2, but we spend a lot of time behind the scenes getting everything stocked up and new merchandise each day, and then we're open for our shoppers to pick up that treasure.
Would you be able to bring up the 2 pictures now, Chris, just the 2 of the flea market? Okay, there's some people shopping at the flea market. So tell us where on the grounds, or I keep saying flea market instead of flea boutique.
Right.
You want to tell us where on the grounds the flea boutique is?
So you can see by the picture, it's Old Chautauqua. We're underneath the colonnade. It's off Pratt in Bester Plaza. You look for the colonnade, then go around to the back, and that's where we are. So we have a basement space, and it's crowded. It has everything in it that you can think of that people would donate, and it's just ripe for picking.
Mm-hmm. I could see that it looked like one woman in the picture was holding a couple of cushions, and I know that people that go to the Ant for programs and things, you see people carrying cushions with them all over on the grounds.
Right.
To go to the programming.
Yes.
So people are quite often really loaded down when they're hanging around over there.
We've made some changes since COVID. We used to just let everyone in to shop, but it got so crowded. We now have a limit to have 12 people in our little space at one time in the main room.
So do you have lines of people outdoors waiting to get in then?
We have lines of people. We had a bag sale where you fill a bag for $5 last week, and we had lines the entire time. Everyone looking for something else.
Yeah, when you're being limited to how many people can come in at a time, you would have really long lines.
I think it's really important to mention what people do and how they donate. So people are at their homes all over the country pre-season. They fill their car with bags and bags of whether it's new clothing, old clothing, things from their house they no longer need, and they pack their car and they bring it up to Chautauqua. So I think it's really important for people to know that it's just not Chautauquans who are, people inside the institution who are donating. There are people who, anybody can donate good articles and of whether it's clothing or housewares. They come from every walk of life. And that's what's so interesting, because there's so many different items, from a silver spoon to a coffee maker to amazing clothing with tags on them. So
well, there was a woman that came that I saw over there one day this summer in 2022 that was wearing a really interesting looking vest. I really liked it. And I gave her a compliment on it, and she said, "Oh, I got it at the Flea Boutique."
Right.
We have great jewelry. Great jewelry.
Really?
We
yes.
do. Oh, and our members now have it in their blood that they save their things to bring to Chautauqua. Our Chautauqua Women's Club members are really dedicated to helping us keep the flea boutique full of good items.
It brings the community together because you feel that when you give something that, especially that's nice from your home, or that you bring up that's special, people drop off little boxes of jewelry and they say, I really want to, this is my donation to the Women's Club, and the community comes out and does that.
Right.
So it's really quite something.
Do you take books?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering about that because I've got some books I would like to donate to somebody.
Women's Club. And we share with the library sometimes when we
good.
have an overflow. So that brings up another subject. When we've gone through everything and we try and sell it all, we share what we have left over with other resale shops in the community. And we've taken things as to the Humane Society shops,
The YWCA.
Yeah,
the
you know,
YWCA. We have a linen drive for them.
Yeah, the Canine Rescue over in Westfield puts on a big yard sale every year the last weekend in July.
Right.
So they don't take books, though. They don't take books, and for some reason they were having problems with not being able to sell the books and the clothing. But they also don't take electronics or mattresses, and I think there might be something else
You
too.
should mention what we don't take.
Yes,
Yeah.
we target, for instance, to the Humane Society, we give them the pet-related items. Like
okay.
dog crates are difficult to pass on to someone else.
Oh, I
So
see.
we send things like that to them, warm blankets and sheets, things they can use.
Yeah, they have to have bedding for the animals.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So.
You should mention what we don't take in case anybody
Oh,
is
what
listening
we
and they
don't
want to
take,
drop
yes,
things
if
off.
you're listening for what we don't take. We don't take electronics. We could fill up our entire store with
just
used computers
yeah.
and printers, so we just can't take that. And we don't take bedding. When you think of a department store, the linen department is the biggest department, and comforters, that kind of thing, take up so much room. So, and then big pieces of furniture, we have a tiny place, so we can't fit them in. And it's kind of a common sense thing. No boats. Sometimes we've gotten inflatable boats.
Oh, gosh.
And golf clubs, they take up a big chunk of space. So we have to operate within the area we have available.
Oh, okay. So definitely not those inflatable boats. Yeah, that would be a lot. Well, I'll have to try to get some stuff over there to donate.
Thank you.
For summer of 2023. So, shall we move on now, Sharon? Sharon is the chair of the scholarship fund. You want to tell them what the scholarship fund is?
Sure. Very happy to do so. This is my 4th year as the scholarship chair, and it's one of our mission that the Women's Club does is to provide money to fund scholarships for the students who come every summer for the Performing and Visual Art program here at Chautauqua Institution. So we have 3 ways of earning the money for the scholarships. First is obviously just general donations from our members and other visitors who want to support it. The other is we have Artists at the Market, which Gail is part of. They operate on 3 days a week, selling their homemade crafts that are beautiful, and then they generously give us 25% of their proceeds to go towards the scholarships. And then the third way we also collect money is through holding recital baskets and asking for donations for people who come to attend the recitals during this season that are put on by the students. And so it's a great way for the students to get performance time and to get more practice at being in center stage. And we just have volunteers that staff outside each of those performances and collect donations. So those are the three ways that we earn the money. And this year, I'm very proud to say we were able to give Chautauqua Institution $45,000. And that helped to support 27 different students who were here in the summer in the schools of performing and visual arts. And we supported students in every one of those 5 schools, from music to dance to voice, theater, and visual arts. At the end of the season, we like to provide a thank you to all of the volunteers, such as the artists at the market and those women who staff the recital basket collections, and we do a thank you reception at the house. And I think we have a photo from that as well. And it was, this year was on a Sunday afternoon. Can we bring up that picture of the
yeah, Chris,
of
we
the
want
reception?
the pictures of the reception.
So there's, okay, that's just a little token of the delicious food we provide when we have these lovely receptions. And you can see that someone took a lot of time to make the cheese into a CWC for Chautauqua Women's Club.
Yeah. Who did do that?
Susan Grelick.
Yeah, Susan Grelick, another board member.
Grelick,
Yes,
okay.
she's amazing with these things.
And then here's a photo of 4 of the ladies who came, the Gail's in there, 4 of the ladies from Artists at the Market who came down for the reception. And this is inside our beautiful parlor, our living room at the house.
I'm going to mention who they are. The one on the far left with the black cardigan, her name is Heather Hutchings, and she does beautiful neck scarves. I don't know how she does it, but I'm planning on having her on Fresh Perspective so I can have her explain to the viewing audience how she does it.
And she's actually wearing one of them.
She's
and
wearing
I own 2 of them. They're gorgeous.
One of them in the picture. And it was kind of cute this past Sunday because her kids came with her, and they were, 2 of them are in junior high and one's in her senior year of high school. And they were able to run around and have fun on the grounds while their mom was busy working. And this kind of ties in with the flea boutique because when they arrived back at the end of the afternoon, the oldest girl was carrying a small suitcase, you know, like maybe about this big. And I said, have you been carrying a suitcase around all day? And she goes, oh, I bought it at the flea boutique.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So that was kind of fun. And then the one next person down the line, her name is Pat Eckstrom, and she does really amazing 3-dimensional artwork where she has put stuff in a frame, and it's not a painting or something, but it's like she does something with a certain kind of paper where she can do pictures that look like forests and things. She's really good at that. And her youngest grandson was with her that day, and he was taking some of the pictures of us, I remember, at the reception. Okay, the next one to Pat is Marion Aranyos. And is it oil painting that she does? Yeah, I think it is, oil painting. And that she does actually...
And watercolor.
And watercolor. And actually, all 3 of those ladies come from Pennsylvania with their artwork. They don't live very close, so they put quite a bit of time into coming up to doing this. Like, I believe that Heather lives in Russell and Pat lives in Bradford and Marion lives in Warren. We have other people that come up from Warren, Pennsylvania also. And well, anyway, Marion is quite a good artist, and she gave Heather a picture that she had painted. Heather is in the picture, and it's a really cute picture because it's Heather, you know, she always wears that hat so she can tie one of the scarves around it. And when she's at Artists at the Market, and it's a picture of her running into the Chautauqua bookstore, holding onto her hat like that to keep it from falling off. It's a really cute picture. And then there's me, was the next one in line. You want to bring that back up? There. Okay, the next person is me, and I do macrame, and I make little boxes out of used greeting cards, which are very popular over there, which I was kind of surprised. A lot of people like them, and some people tell me they get some every year from me. So, and then of course, the fifth person in line there is Sharon, who is also here with us today. And that dress that you were wearing that day was adorable.
Oh, thank you. What dress isn't adorable with Sharon?
Yeah, she looked really, really nice. Okay, so Sharon, I will let you go on and talk some more.
Thank you. So one of the things I wanted to share with you today is with the 27 students that we supported with scholarships, we get these lovely thank you notes. And these are students that are coming from all over the world. A lot of the pianists are coming from China and Japan to come and study at the piano program. So I just wanted to share a couple of thank you notes that we received just to show you how special their time at Chautauqua is. So it says, "Dear Chautauqua Women's Club, thank you for your wonderful generosity and contribution to my participation at Chautauqua Institute this summer. I'm so happy that I had the opportunity to be here, to hear wonderful artists, meet new friends, and learn from my teachers and colleagues here. I loved exploring Chautauqua and its surroundings and making memories to look back on with much gratitude and joy. Thank you." Another one that I thought was really lovely. "Dear Chautauqua Women's Club, I write this note today with the most grateful and overflowing heart. Thank you for your support of the Chautauqua Voice program. You have provided me with the summer of a lifetime." So that's why I do the hard work that I do to raise the money that I do for scholarship. It's because you get lovely notes like this from very grateful students who really learned a lot and enjoyed their time at this beautiful property.
Well, you spent a bunch of time with some of the ballet students, didn't you? Would you like to tell us about that?
Sure. So that's a whole nother thing that's called the Connections Program. And so people who donate to scholarship through the Women's Club are able to be a host family for a student. And this year I was a host family to 3 ballet dancers, festival dancers. One was 14 and the other 2 were 15 years of age. They all came from a ballet school outside of Boston. So my responsibility as the host family was to have them over for dinners, have them be able to come and do their laundry at my house because there are so few washing machines up at Bellinger Hall. And then just to get them out on the boat or take them outside of the grounds for dinner or to get an ice cream, something to just give them a sense of home away from home. So that's a big, huge positive for me. I just love meeting these kids and getting to know them and watch them perform. And for the ballet dancers, they actually have 2 dance galas that they put on, one at the beginning of the season, I think it's week 3, and then one at the very end of the season, week 7. And they just grow so much as a dancer during their 7 weeks here under the tutelage of Patricia McBride and Sasha Jane. So that was a very fun experience for me. But you can be a host family to any student, whether it's in voice or theater or visual arts or dance, but I just happened to be a host to 3 little ballet dancers this year.
Some of them were coming into the Artists at the Market, too.
Oh, they loved Artists at the Market, yes. They were up there buying jewelry, and yes. They were very cute. They were very excited to get up there when they had free time on a Sunday to go to Artists at the Market.
Yeah, they were saying something about Sundays, my only day off, They had to be doing other things, going to classes and things the rest of the time.
Oh, no, the students that participate in the Performing and Visual Arts School are working very, very hard.
Yeah.
They have very little free time.
I figured out that one of them was a ballet student just because he came in the first time I saw him and he was wearing a T-shirt that said something about the Chautauqua Ballet on it. And I said, "Are you one of the ballet students here by any chance?" And he said he was. So I asked him how many years he'd been practicing, and he said he couldn't remember. He just knew he'd been doing it for a really long time.
Yeah,
So.
You can also spot a ballet dancer because of how they stand. Their feet are always like this.
Yeah, they move differently than people who haven't studied ballet. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, they do. So,
So I also would love to just give a shout out to the volunteers on the scholarship committee. These are women and men who are members of the Women's Club, and they are the ones who are volunteering their time to be at the recitals. The recitals are free of charge, but you're getting, as an attendee, you get to go and listen to students who are honing their skills in a lot of music and voice, and these ladies and men are just wonderful. I had 15 people this year help me with that, and we were at 34 different recitals. And then Artists at the Market, under Susan Hedberg's organization, we had 22 different artists that participated this year during the season on the Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday afternoons. So that was wonderful. So thank you all.
yeah, there were some sad things too, because one of the ladies who participated in 2021 and a few other times before that, we found out she had signed up for 2022, and we found out she had passed away. So
Yes.
unexpectedly.
Yeah, that was very
So
tragic.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you know, a couple of the ladies have lost their husbands over the years they've been doing this, and we're always there for each other, you know, when something happens like that.
Well, that's the beautiful thing of the Women's Club. We really, friendship is foremost, you know, very important, and we build lifetime friendships, or we provide opportunities to do such. And our community is really one of, this year in particular, in 2022, we've partnered with various different organizations on the grounds. And the Bird and Tree, maybe you've had them on your show, but we made lunches for their lunchbox, and every couple of years they do a big tour, a Bird and Tree Garden house tour, and they get 1,000 people that come off the grounds, and we provided lunch boxes for them this year. So we're trying to work together. We've made connections to the Hebrew congregation. They've been supporting our Friday night takeout dinners, and then we just had a program with them when we had Doyle Stevick here from the Anne Frank Center. And so we've really tried to cross-pollinate this summer with a lot of different other organizations in the Chautauqua community, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful thing.
Now, I couldn't help but notice, of course, how beautiful the Women's Clubhouse is. How old is that house anyway?
I believe it was 1917
I believe
when
so.
it was
When
it was moved over, and
Oh, it was moved
It was
from
a
a
different. Well, it was a
location?
different location.
Wow.
So, and then it was renovated in 2010,
Oh.
and that took about 4 years. So the renovation finished around 2014, and as you can see, it's just absolutely beautiful.
It is really very
And we rent
beautiful.
rooms. We have 5 rooms that we rent, and you know, each week people come in from all over, and sometimes they can stay a couple weeks, sometimes they just stay for 1 week. But it's a really beautiful, beautiful place to be.
Mm-hmm.
It has the best view of the lake.
Mm-hmm.
The
Oh
best
yeah,
view
well,
of any.
it's right. It's
Yeah.
right down there.
Our porch,
It's
it's
right
beautiful.
down there, yeah. So, would you like to read any more of those thank you cards, Sharon? Or not?
Well, I think they speak for themselves. I mean, the students are just so grateful to have the opportunity to study at the institution, because these programs are so competitive to get into. For example, Nikki Melville, who runs the piano program, was saying that they listened to over 100 tapes of pianists that sent in, because obviously they couldn't, with COVID last year, they couldn't go and do their actual visits like they used to do. So they listened to over 120, I think, different tapes that came in, and they selected 22 students to come to the piano
Out of
program.
120, yeah.
So it's extremely competitive, and
Oh.
these students are very talented, and they use the practice shacks, and there's 11 practice shacks, which is why they can only take 22 students, because 2 students share a practice shack.
Okay, so there's a piano in every one of the practice shacks.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And so then the 2 students that are assigned to that shack have to then determine who practices when. But they work
Okay.
very, very hard.
Okay.
Just as one example of how competitive it is to get in. And
So
then
that's mainly what the practice shacks are used for?
it's for the musicians to practice, and they're soundproof.
Do they have singing lessons? Can you study that at Chautauqua?
Oh yeah, there's a whole voice program as well.
Do they practice in the practice shacks too?
Yes.
Okay.
Since they're soundproof, you can do anything in there and not bother the next person in the shack.
Oh, they're soundproof. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So I know that they've been there forever.
And they were also renovated. I'm not sure when, but they reached out for donations to update each one so they could put air conditioning, because they used to be very, very hot.
Oh, they
I
have
can
air
imagine,
conditioning
yeah.
in them now.
And
Wow.
I think that was done about 10 years ago or so.
Okay. Would any of you like to say anything more, like about the flea boutique?
Well, one thing, people from the community outside the gates of Chautauqua are welcome to join the Women's Club. And we do have members that come from DeWittville, around the lake.
Jamestown, Lakewood.
Yeah, Jamestown. And I have some ladies that live locally that help at the flea boutique. And that's a great way to meet other women. We have a small army behind the scenes, marking merchandise and sorting it out and straightening up, and just to keep the flea boutique running on an even keel. So I'd invite anyone locally that would like to get involved to join.
Office
you-
at, you want to say your email in case somebody wants to?
Oh,
Sure.
yeah.
Yeah, if anyone has any questions about the Women's Club or would like some more information about volunteering, you can email office@chautauquawomensclub.org, and I will be the one to answer that email.
Oh, okay. Now, there's a lady that's been working at the Women's Club who's also been participating at Artists at the Market. Lynn Joyful.
Joyful with 2 L's.
Joyful with 2 L's. Her last name is really Joyful.
It's her real name.
And she's also been participating at Artists at the Market, and she makes sterling silver jewelry. And she has agreed to be on an upcoming episode of Fresh Perspectives, and bring her jewelry with her to talk about. So that'll be a fun thing to look forward to. But she actually works over at the Women's Club. It's a job.
She does. We have staff members that are local, or or come from different areas that work with us, and she's been a great addition to the club.
I know
this
she
year.
helped with reception. I remember she was doing up beverages for people.
Well, it's all hands on deck when we have events or receptions. Everybody does something.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's important to say that we have about 800 members, and over 100 men. So it's just not
It's
for
not
women.
just for women.
No, we have
No.
our, there's a lot of men, obviously, who might be partners or spouses who support, but we have so many men who just say, we love what the Women's Club is doing, and we want to support the Women's Club. And the first step is to join.
Mm-hmm.
And we have 2 different memberships. We have an annual membership, it's only $35. And then we have a lifetime membership. That's $350, but it's a one-time payment.
Okay.
And when you join as a life member, you for your first year, you get to come to our life member luncheon the following year. So the people who joined this year will be our guests next year, and we had about 80 people, and it's usually at the Athenaeum.
Mm-hmm.
And so you get a wonderful lunch, and you get a great program, and it's a wonderful afternoon, usually the second or third week of July.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we know the date. I think it's July 16th next year, but I might be wrong.
That sounds right.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, anyways, who is that man that is always there working at the receptions?
That would be Tim Jefferson,
Tim
our house
Jefferson?
manager. Yes.
He's a house manager,
Right.
okay.
Right. And then we
Okay.
have Jordan Zaccardo, who is also a local young adult. He's in college and he helps out as well. So we've got a great staff. And Sarah Agza, who is just wonderful, and she's been with us for 5 years. So 7 years, 5 years. We've got a couple people with
Yeah,
2 or
they're-
3 years. We treat our staff very, very well.
Well, which one was the one that was having a birthday the day of the?
That was Sarah.
Sarah. Okay.
Sarah. She's a graduate at Oswego.
Uh-huh.
And we didn't think we'd have her back this year, and we did, and we're just thrilled.
Yeah, because I remember Lynn was telling me it was her birthday, and she had given her some of her jewelry for a birthday present.
That's
So
right.
that was really nice.
Well, speaking of Lynn told me that she really enjoyed meeting everyone up at Artists at the
Oh,
Market.
that's good.
That your sense of community between all of the artists who show their crafts, she said, was just fabulous. And she made great friends, and she's looking forward to being there again next summer.
Oh, good. I'm glad.
So she had a really
I'm
good
glad,
experience.
I'm glad
Yeah.
that she's going to be back again.
Yeah.
Because her things are really nice.
Well, we're all about community, so that's great.
Well, we have like 16 minutes left here, so what should we talk about now?
Well, we could talk about our tent sale if you want to.
Tent sale?
Yeah, we should
Okay.
talk about the tent sale that we had this year.
Okay.
Gail, because that was huge. It was a two-day sale.
Extravaganza.
Yeah, extravaganza.
Was it a Friday and Saturday or what?
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, so was that something on the order of the Flea Boutique? What was that? I wasn't even aware of it.
So the Women's Club purchased a tent in 2020.
Oh, okay, so you own it.
We own a tent,
Oh,
which
good.
resides at Jamestown Awning. And so over the weekend of the 30th and 31st of July, the tent went up, and we had saved some of our better donations from the Flea Boutique and stored them in the Women's Club basement, and they came out for the sale along with some wonderful designer clothes and bags and shoes donated by our members. And we had saved up jewelry for a couple of years over the pandemic, so we really had great offerings.
Oh,
and we had a silent auction, then things for sale, and we were busy the entire time, people really enjoying the weekend because it was beautiful weather and just shopping under the tent and finding friends there and
It's a social
finding
gathering as well.
treasures,
People
right.
would come in, and we take credit card now.
Oh my gosh.
right.
Yeah, the Flea Boutique can only take cash or checks.
Cash or
Yes.
check
At
for
the
the
Flea
Flea Boutique. Okay.
Which is behind the colonnade.
But you
down
can
on
take
Pratt.
credit cards for the tent
The
sale.
tent sale, we were able to take credit
Because that's
cards.
we pulled the nicer
Yeah.
inventory, basically.
Oh,
And
okay.
more
so-
expensive items. So
Yes.
we
Okay,
were
so,
able to
so
do credit cards there.
basically you charge more for them.
Yes.
nicer goods.
Nicer.
Yes,
Yeah,
Well,
nicer
because-
goods, which are just
Right,
a little
because
more.
the merchandise is nicer. Yes,
It's-
things
it's a
are
class
more
act.
expensive.
Yeah.
The tent
But we
sale,
do.
you don't want to miss the tent sale. When we have a tent sale, come.
Yeah.
I'll have to try to do that in 2023, just to see what it's like if I don't buy, even if I don't buy anything.
People wait all summer for our tent sales.
So
Yes.
that'll be advertised at the
And I'm not quite sure if we're doing it next year, we'll see, but it's every other year at least.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're
Yeah.
figuring that out, right, with
Okay.
the inventory.
Right.
Well, you know, you were talking about taking credit cards, and one thing that I noticed last year, that I noticed in 2021, was a friend of mine and I were over there one day hanging around, and
At the
it's
institution?
yeah, and I noticed that you had to use charge cards if you wanted to get anything to eat or drink over there, which kind of surprised me that we couldn't use cash. So
That might have been.
It might have been in COVID.
Maybe that
Yes.
would have
Was
been
it?
a
Do you-
COVID problem.
Are they not still
You can
doing-
still pay cash. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, okay, that was last summer. I wondered if that was going to be a permanent thing, but,
It was just a COVID protocol.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Which is
Okay.
evolving, right? It's continuing to evolve.
Yeah.
Yeah, it changes all the time, doesn't it? So,
Yeah, and I can also say, I don't know if we touched upon our recreational activities such as Mahjong. We do Mahjong during the week, and we have a language hour.
what is Mahjong?
It's a Japanese, is it Japanese or Chinese? I'm embarrassed. I would think it's a Japanese game. It's Mahjong is a tile game.
A tile
tile game that's very popular right now, and we offer Mahjong. And what's incredible is the language hour. So on our porch, generally, if it's good weather, people from French, German, Italian, and Spanish, they're out on our porch speaking different languages.
Oh.
And that attract, people from the county come in for that as well.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's just a way to come and have conversational, conversations in different languages and practice your language. So that's really interesting. And then we offer duplicate bridge. So we have a master, and you can be awarded master points. So that's another wonderful program for the community.
Hmm.
The duplicate bridge is very popular.
Yes.
I mean, you typically have 8 card tables of 4.
At least.
At least 32 to 40 people come.
Yeah.
For the
Now, why
duplicate
is it
bridge.
called duplicate bridge?
You'll have to ask the bridge experts on that
I
one.
think it's duplicate because that's the one that you get the points.
Yeah, that
right?
is
It's
the
more
one-
competitive.
Yeah.
It's more
version.
competitive?
Yeah.
Well, in duplicate bridge, everyone's given the same hand, and so then how you play it, you're competing against the other tables, really.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
What, is it like 2 people at each table?
Four.
4 at each table.
we have a whole bridge committee, so we can't speak totally on the bridge. But
Right, and then for duplicate bridge, the winners are published in the daily every
in the
week.
daily
So
Chautauqua.
you can tell who the good bridge players are.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting. The daily Chautauqua, when you see young people out selling it kind of like in an old-fashioned kind of way, like from years ago. So instead of delivering it to boxes that sit next to people's mailboxes. Can people subscribe to that? People from outside the institution?
I don't know if it gets mailed to.
Well, we have paper boys, so I don't know about outside the institution, but it's a terrific way to keep informed about what's going on. For instance, the Women's Club Hope publishes an ad every weekend saying what's going on for the next week.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And there's a great article today on the Women's Club in the Daily. So
It seems like every week at Chautauqua is different.
Different and busy.
Different and busy. They have a food week, don't they?
that's going on right now.
That's going on right now.
Well, it just concluded
The last,
yesterday.
last night
the
was the
last
last night.
week of the season. Don't you have to buy tickets somewhere in order to go to one of the food trucks to get something to eat?
Yes.
They, for some reason.
It just makes it easier for the vendors. You go to a little kiosk and purchase your tickets, and then it's listed how much each food item takes per how many tickets.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
basically, it just saves them time, so they don't have to check out everyone before they get their food.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah, I remember being there in Bester Plaza one year when they were doing that. And there was one food vendor that was there. He had tomatoes and things like that. And I remember I had him on an episode of Fresh Perspectives at a previous time. I think it was the previous winter. So when I went up and started talking to him, he's going, "I want you to try these tomatoes." They were almost kind of striped looking or something. "I want you to try some of these tomatoes." So he just gave me some of his tomatoes. They weren't really open for business yet, but I was supposed to meet somebody somewhere I was on my way to, so he just gave me some of the tomatoes. It was in the morning, and so that was kind of fun. And then I think later that day, I think I got some, I think it was lemon flavored something. It was vegan, so I was able to get it. I can't remember. It was some frozen dessert that was lemon flavored.
Yeah, but I think they change the vendors each year.
Do they?
Yeah, I think
get a
it
different
depends
batch?
well, I think I think there's some popular ones that come back, but they've done a nice job.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So anyway, yeah. Okay. He wants to know where the women's club is.
Yes, so it's in the institution, and you just go all the way down to the water. And we are right next to the Athenaeum Hotel. So technically the address is 30 South Lake Drive.
30 South Lake.
But you just go to the institution and go right to the water, and we're to the right of the Athenaeum
As
Hotel.
you're facing the lake.
If you're facing the lake.
Facing
correct.
the lake, yeah.
Off of Jane Street, yeah.
So, yeah, and then when those of us came down from Artists at the Market, we would walk down Jane Street and go underneath the
archway.
The archway, yeah. So
it's one of the best porches in Chautauqua, best views.
The one at the Women's Club.
Women's Club, yes. It's a really, really special place. So we have to thank the people who came before us and, the legacy.
The first time I went to one of those receptions when you had them, there was a lady that I just happened to know down there. She was playing the piano. Kay Barlow was playing the piano. I think she had a job as an organist over there that summer.
I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah, we have a beautiful piano. It's an old Steinway vintage. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and you have a picture of Eleanor Roosevelt, really big picture of Eleanor Roosevelt in that living room there.
Yeah, with Anna Pennybacker, our third and most influential president. So the two of them together, and a lot of people come into the house and take selfies with Eleanor. It's great.
Mm-hmm. And wasn't the Women's Club involved with
suffrage movement?
The suffrage
of course.
movement, yes.
Yeah,
yes.
We had national leaders as our leadership.
Wow.
Yeah, so we've got quite a history. We have quite a history and a legacy.
And we celebrated the suffragettes at our Life Member Luncheon this year at the Athenaeum.
Oh yeah. That kind of got messed with on account of the pandemic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the 102nd
100th
year.
Anniversary. We were hoping to do something very special, and then COVID hit, so we were unable to do that. But we did do I thought, a lovely presentation that was organized by Nancy Langston, who ran the Life Member Luncheon, and it was fabulous. It was showcasing 3 different women who had been very instrumental in moving the women's right to vote forward.
Mm-hmm.
So we were able to get that celebrated. And the attendees, we asked people to wear something white because that's what the suffragettes wore. Yeah. Yeah. So it was, everyone was wearing some form of a white outfit, whether it was a white dress, a white shirt, a white sweater. And it was just in solidarity to support the women who came before us that got us the right to vote.
Well,
lovely.
my husband and I watched a DVD about the history of the suffragette movement, and boy, some of those women were really, really very courageous, and they suffered a lot.
They did.
And there was one woman who got thrown in jail for her involvement with it. And then she went on a hunger strike while she was in jail. And then, I can't think of her name, but then they would force feed them. They would actually pour things down their throats so that, you know, they couldn't be blamed for people starving to death in jail. And I mean, they really went through a lot to earn the women's right to vote. And then certain parts of the country had the right before others. So
we're very thankful, and we're here now, and we have a voice.
Yes, we can vote now, and that's a really good thing that we can vote. So.
Yes, we can't take that for granted.
No,
those
no.
Ladies
So
they went through
those
a lot.
those of you in the viewing audience, make sure whenever there's an election that you get out and vote. It's very, very important. We don't want to lose it because we don't use it. So.
And I would just love to say, anybody who's around outside of the gates or in the gates, please stop by the Women's Club. It's open to everybody. You can walk in, see the house, sit down on the porch. We hope you will become a member, but if you are not a member, you are still welcome in the house. So we are a welcoming community to all. So thank you.
Yes, and but that's only during the Chautauqua summer season, isn't it?
Correct.
You know, the house is
We'll
not
close
open.
down the house in a week or two.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So.
And we do private rentals. We have been doing more private rentals, so you can rent the whole house out. So there's a lot of weddings that go on in Chautauqua in the shoulder seasons.
Like in the fall and the spring.
Exactly, and you know, if we can do it, it's a lot of, like, a wedding party would, you know, we have 5 or 6 rooms to use. They can rent the whole house, and it's a lovely place to take pictures for the brides and with their bridesmaids. It's a great opportunity, and we also do rent during the season. It's on a more limited basis, but people have
just
done
rooms for people to stay.
well, the rentals for the rooms are week by week, and we have a huge waiting list on that. But when we've been completely full the last many years, but for a rental, so there might be a reception. Somebody wants to rent our beautiful living room. We have opportunities to do that again during the season on a limited basis. But you know, I don't know any other beautiful venue like the Women's Club living room to have some sort of a reception. So.
Yeah, that really is very nice. Well, I want to thank you all for coming on again, and hopefully we can have you on again the following year.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. And I'll see those of you in the viewing audience when I'm here for the next episode.